everybody, it's been like 5 years since my last computer assembly video. It's that time again for another computer. We had the opportunity to upgrade, so I'm going with all new computer. I'm actually repurposing my old computer. We've got Plex, and we've got the security cameras and stuff all set up on that one. I may use it as a second computer for streaming. We'll see what it works out with. But for right now, I want to show you everything I got for this new computer, and I'll talk a little bit about why. What I can tell you now, I looked at prices of just the pre-built computers. I seriously considered just getting a pre-built. That way I could deal with the warranty. They didn't have all these separate parts to work together. I knew everything worked together. It was covered by warranty, and I wouldn't have to worry about it. Every time I looked, first of all, the delay on those were sometimes up to 4 or 5 months for the delay for those, so it's going to take 4 or 5 months to get that stuff in. And then it really wasn't, it was okay looking, but the cases, I didn't really like a lot of the cases. The ones I did like, they were really expensive compared to what I could basically buy what I've got here for almost the same price, but a little bit lower end on the pre-built one. So it wasn't quite as high end as what I've got here. So I was kind of making, I was giving and taking a lot. You know, I would get this that was really good, but not this that wasn't quite so good. And their pre-packaged deals, you can customize a little bit, but not greatly. And when you start customizing, the price shoots up really, really fast. So while the base unit does look pretty good on the surface, when you start upgrading it to things you really want or need, then the prices start going up. So I just decided, you know what, I've always enjoyed building computers anyway. I've done them all since I was a teenager, a long time. So I thought I would just build another one, and it's fun to do, and I like showing you guys how to build them and how I put them together. So I'll be right back. I'm going to go through each thing I bought and talk about them up close. Okay, so I wanted to go through each item I bought and the cost. This is all bought on Amazon. Right now it's an interesting time to buy anything online computer stuff, because some of it I got really quickly, and other things I had to wait, I don't know, 3 weeks to get some of the stuff in. So just know you don't get them instantly. So this is the case I bought. I got the NZXT Next. Yes, they're on top. That's the brand of the white case I bought last time. I really love this case. I like the look of it. This one is the H710. It's not the H710i. The difference is the H710i had some lights and stuff in it, which I don't care about the lights, and you were adding another 40 or 50 bucks for just some lights to light up the case, and it's like, mine's under a desk. I don't care about all that stuff. But I did like the looks of this one, and it's made for the cooling radiator fins too, so that I really like this case. The motherboard, let me talk about the monitor I got. Oh, and the price of this was $138.99. So that's how much it cost me, and I do have Prime on all this, so I didn't pay for shipping on anything. So it was $138.99. That's also not including tax. The monitor I bought, ended up buying the Asus monitor. It's the $399.99 is how much it costs. So it's not super high-end monitor, but $400 is a pretty decent monitor. They had them all the way up to $600. Matter of fact, if you go look for this monitor right now, as I'm taping this, I think this same $400 monitor was up to $350, because they're just in short supply right now, so it's just really hard to get things. This one is the 27-inch monitor. It is the MG478. It's not technically G-Sync monitor, but it is G-Sync compatible, so it will work with a G-Sync video card, in case you're interested. Asus, I bought an Asus monitor. The last one I bought was an Asus. I love them. I love their monitors. Really, really nice look, really clean. And 27 inches is bigger than anything I've got so far, so right now. So that's a monitor. That's why I decided on it. So let me show you the motherboard. This is your spine of your computer. Oh, the monitor, I told you it's $399. The motherboard is the Gigabit. It's the X570 motherboard. This one has Wi-Fi in it. I don't need Wi-Fi, honestly, but it came with it. It was the only one that was available in the Next. It was a really good rated motherboard. And it was absolutely available to where it was some kind of a reasonable time frame too. I ended up getting this in a few weeks, so it didn't take too long. It was $209.99 for the motherboard. These are regularly like $189, so this price is spiking, like I said, on all this stuff. The CPU I bought is this. I'll put it over here. It's the AMD Ryzen. This one is the, I'm going to show you the sticker on top. This one is the Ryzen 7 3700X. and that one was the best overall like processor that you can get for just generally everything. I mean, it was good for gaming. It was really good for application type stuff, video, all that stuff. So this was a good just all around general processor. I know the Intel, the i7, like 9700, I think it was supposed to be just a little bit faster, but it was so close frame rate wise, it really doesn't matter to me. And then I'll talk about the video card. And the video card, they literally, this is how they shipped it. It was not in another box. It was literally just like this. So I pulled the shipping label off. This one is the 2070 Super video card. This one is also an Asus card. It was overclocked. It's got 8 gigs of memory. And this one was $529.99, which is, believe it or not, pretty much the most expensive thing. Actually, I think that is the most expensive thing in the whole thing, the video card, yeah. So I could have went for the 2060, but I'd rather have the 2070 because I do want a little higher end video card. Moving over, we have the power supply, which is a Silverstone ET700. It's a 700 watt power supply. I wanted to make sure I had a decent wattage power supply. I could have got by with a 600 watt, but a 700 watts just gives you a little bit more options. This one is $109.09. So $109.09. And then the cooler I bought, it is the iCUE. It's by Corsair. It's the H115i. It's very similar. I think this is the upgraded version of what I have in my memory in my computer right now. The last one I built, this is just the updated version of it. This was $139.99. The processor that comes in this box over here, this processor actually has a cooler in it. It's called the it's called something funny. Yeah, Wraith Prism thermal solution. That's what it comes with already. That's the fan. It comes with that fan, but I found that I really like the inbuilt, the all-in-one cooler system. So I like this, and this case is built for that radiator to fit right up front. So it'll be nice. Let's see. Memory-wise, found my memory. Here it is. Memory, I got the Viper Steel series, the DDR4 Extreme Performance Memory. This is the dual kit, so they're matched. It's always best to buy matched memory when you're buying 2 sticks of the same size. So it's 2 8 gig matched sticks is what it is. And this one is the 16 gigs altogether. The memory was $70.99. So it's funny how memory, this years ago would have been one of the most expensive things in your computer. Nowadays, it's almost the cheapest thing in your computer. And then we've got, this is the hard drive. This one is an M2 card. It's an SSD. It is $129.98, and it's a 1 terabyte drive. This will go directly on the motherboard, super fast. It goes directly into the PCI Express bus. And then I bought an extra 2 terabyte SSD drive. This one is the Crucial brand, the BX500. It got really good reviews too. It was $199.99, but it's a 2 terabyte drive. And then the last thing I have is just, and you didn't need this to build the computer, of course, but my router, excuse me, my router back in my bedroom is full. It only has 4 slots or 4 ports. So I needed to expand it out just a little bit to add another computer back there. So this is only $18.99, and this is the TP-Link, which is a really good brand router. I didn't bring it in here, but I also have a monitor stand that I bought, which is not part of necessarily the computer build. The monitor stand, I have 3 monitors, so I'm going to the monitor stand will hold all 3 monitors. It will be $59.95. That's how much I paid for that. I also have an HDMI splitter for hooking my Xbox up to split up an HDMI 1080p signal and a HD signal, which will go to this 144 hertz monitor. So my total for everything, not including the monitor stand and the HDMI splitter, the things that you need here, my total was $2226.99. So $2,226.99. That's what I told Tammy about. The other things were added up to $117.94. Those were, like I said, the stand and the splitter. So my total cost for everything was $2,344.93. That was everything. But like I said, you don't necessarily need all that stuff. And if you're upgrading a computer you already have and you're upgrading it and getting rid of that one, you wouldn't necessarily need to buy a new monitor. You wouldn't need necessarily buy a new case. You might need to buy a new motherboard, video card, and cooler, and some other little tidbits, but you wouldn't have to buy everything, so it would have been a lot cheaper. So I'm going to get into showing.
I don't see a keyboard.
Oh, I have a keyboard and a mouse. I already have just one that's extra. This is not going to be. This is going to be the keyboard and mouse that I use currently. I'm just going to use it on this computer.
Okay.
The computer I currently have is really not going to be interacted with a lot. So I've just got an extra, just a cheapo keyboard and mouse. I'm just going to have sitting there to when if I need to interact with it, I will. But it's pretty much just going to be on the monitor showing our video, our security cameras and stuff like that. So I don't really, and running Plex, so that doesn't need it for anything like that. So I'm going to get all this stuff out of the boxes. I'll probably just show you me taking everything out and probably speed it up. Tammy likes to speed things up. And if there's anything I want to show you specifically, I'll make sure I show you. Real quick, this is the monitor stand I was talking about. I'm actually going to have a separate video of me putting this together because there's not any really good videos on YouTube of showing how to assemble this and how to set it up. I think the company has a video, but that's it. So I'm going to put this completely together on a separate video entirely. Doesn't look too awfully hard, but we'll see in the video. So anyway, this is that monitor stand. Alright, some of this stuff I won't actually open, like the hard drives and stuff, there's no reason for me to open right now, but I will get other things ready. Like I'll get this, not really do anything to it, but I'll get the packaging open, just so it's ready to go. And they always give you stickers. Stick on your case, which I like to stick stickers on my case. And I always stick my boxes, I always put them in the case box, that way I know where they all are. The processor, I'll probably go ahead and get this is the actual processor. So I'll just leave that here. And then the fan and stuff, I'll probably leave in here because there's really no, I don't need the fan. So here's the box. So I don't need it, so I'm just going to leave it in there and just put it in the case. Modular power supply, so you get all the separate cables to only hook up what you need. Now I'll need to read the books on the cooler. Pretty much that's it. I'll just read the book on the cooler to see how to mount it onto this particular motherboard. But yeah, that's pretty much everything out of the box except for the router. I'm not too worried about that. That's pretty straightforward. But yeah, I'll be back once I get it all read and where I can start putting things together. Okay, so I've taken the side panels off the case. Let's see more all the way through it. I need to pull the front and the top off because what I need to do is my radiator is actually going to go on front. So you pull this, I'll wipe my hand on this case, on this power supply. It's not the easiest thing to pull off, that's for sure. And it feels like these things are going to break right off there at some point in time. So don't take that off very often. The good thing is you don't have to. And then I'll pull the top off. And there's my filter, by the way. Yeah, there we go. The cables are still there. I was worried that they would try to pull off of the top cables. They're all still there, so that's fine. Okay, so this bracket, does that pull off? No, this bracket doesn't come off, so I'll have to take all these fans off. The cool thing is, I'll bend it just so you can see it. So there's thumb screws right here. There's screws there. This whole bracket pulls off and I can just lay it back in there. So I'm going to pull this off, because the way I'm going to set this up is to where it pulls in from the front through the radiator. So it pulls in here through the radiator and blows up through the top with the fans. It pulls out. So that's what I'm going for. And I don't want my fans to intrude up in this space right here or on the top space. So I'm gonna put my fans on the back side. So like my radiator fans, this is my radiator. My fans will fit on this side right here. So they're showing inside the case. You could put them here, but that's gonna put it awfully close to this front piece of metal here. So I'm not gonna do that. All right. So the little tray lifts right out of there. Now I just need to take all these fans out. Got the fans mounted in the top. Really wasn't much to show there, just getting the 4 screws per fan and making sure they're pointing in the right direction. There didn't see an arrow on there for airflow direction, but I look at the back. The back has the next label pointed in on the input side, so that's how I did them on the top. Hopefully that's right, we'll see. But it should be fine. It should be the right direction. So now I'm gonna do my radiator. The radiator is gonna sit in my case like this. And I want my fans on the inside because I don't want to take up space on this side towards the front panel. So my fans are going to go here. They're going to blow into the case. So I just need to make sure when I put them in, install them, the arrows are pointing into the case and the cables are going upwards. So there is an indicator on one of these. Yeah, it's right here. It's got an arrow. It's really teeny tiny, point upwards. So that's what I'm going to do. So I've got all my parts here to install the AMD processor. Yeah, don't actually need 2 of these. I think I only need 1, but you got your clips and all that stuff. So this one is for the actual fan itself, and I don't believe I need washers on these. Okay, since you couldn't see it from over there really, here's the fans. I mean, see I put the screws in it. I screwed this back down, this case. I like the idea of pulling this out, but it's not that big a deal. And honestly, you know what? I could have put the fans on top. They would have been like even with the top of this. I still think it would have had pretty decent airflow, but I would rather get the heat out quickly. So I put the fans, I bumped them all together. I left a gap back here in the back just so we're not fighting with this fan too much. So they're both pulling out. The one in the back's pulling out and these are pulling out. And I think I've still got enough room up here to generate some pressure up here to push out through these side vents and the back vent. So yeah, I left the gap in here. I think it'll work out pretty good. I think if I didn't leave the gap in there, the fans were like sitting right here even with this, it wouldn't have as much room to push out air. So anyway, this is the corner of the case that was bent up a little bit, and you can see it's still got a little bit of a dent. I may have to take that hammer and just tap that back. It's got a little gap in there. I guess it just hit the truck and or it hit the box, hit something and it dented it just out a little bit. So it's a little disappointing it had that, but it's okay. Everything else is pretty good shape. You can see this side's the same way. It's got like a little pull out too. So maybe that's not a flaw. Maybe that's how it's made with that little hook on there. So I may just leave it alone. Anyway, we'll see. I'll probably just leave it. And here's the front. Again, it's got this magnetic dust cover filter, and there's the radiator in there, screwed into place. The gap, you leave a gap in the bottom because, well, it doesn't even have screws down that low to put them in, but you put it kind of up towards the top. And then this this filter just sits in the bottom and just snaps into place just like that. So pretty easy. And then, like I said, that front is going to be a pain in the ass to take off, so it really doesn't come off very easily. So I'll probably hardly ever take it off. Occasionally, maybe once every few months, I'll take it out and vacuum this off. But the one I've got now doesn't get too awfully bad, but it's easier to take off too. And here's the inside, so you can see it pretty decent. There's the fans. There's the heat pump. I'll probably run the fans up on the top, like this little cable. I actually tried out putting these two, the water lines above this little thing right here, and it just didn't fit right. It was in there really strange. So I ended up I'll run it underneath this and run it up here like this, because it didn't fit up in that little slot very well. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. I could probably still put it in there, but I think I'll just leave it below it, just like that, running that way. So yeah. So my next thing is, and like I said, I'll probably put the fan lines, the power lines up through here and run those two lines up through here. And there's a little hook right here where I can hook a cable to a zip tie or something too. So anyway, that's where I'm at now. Next thing I'm gonna do is the power supply, which is pretty cool how they do this. I'll show you up close. So they've got these 4 thumb screws right here, and you literally just unscrew them. I'm amazed they're loose enough where I can actually get them out. And they're retaining screws too. They don't fall out. They're self-retaining screws, so you can't lose them. So this basically, you just put this against the back of your power supply. Don't want to scratch my kitchen table up. But you just get this on your power supply and have it turn the right direction. Yeah, and it goes like that. You notice I said put it the right direction because the screw holes didn't match up. If you try to put it upside down, there's no screw hole over here. So it only goes one way, just like that. So yeah, I got 4 screws with the power supply. These came with it. And I'll put those in there and it basically just slides back into place. So I'll speed that part up, but I'll be right back. Now I'm not going to slide it all the way in because I need to hook up cables. I need to hook up power cables to it, and it's a little easier if you kind of have them back a little bit. I could actually have it all the way out because I know one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to put the motherboard cable, so I know I need that for sure. This case also has a filter underneath the power supply right here. Because the fan is on the bottom. Is that right? No. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I don't see anything else. Let me put up a couple things. Like I have some of these washers and stuff put up. Let me get that put up, lay my case down to where I can actually mount this in, and I'll be back. All right, so I've got my motherboard. I made sure, I just kind of laid it in there to make sure the standoffs in here, which there are these standoffs sticking up. I make sure they lined up. They do, they're fine. They're all good and tight. I've double checked them all. So basically this motherboard has a built-in back plane, so you don't have to do anything fancy with it. So it's already there. So basically you just take your motherboard and kind of put it in at an angle where it fits in there and just lay it right in. And then just make sure it lines up with everything. And you're good to go. Yeah. So I've got 6 of the screws out of there. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my cooler. So I've got my parts here. And this one's actually more straightforward than I thought it would be. So for the processor, this is the processor right here. And the cooler has the Intel one built on because, you know, everybody uses Intel, right? This is going to be, the hoses are going to go that way. Just like that, because you want your words up and down. So I'm going to pull this off. Don't touch that. And these are going to pull off here, because this is the Intel ones, and we don't want the Intel ones up there. They're really tight. And these are going to go bump side up, and they're going to go just like that. Like that, and then you're going to attach, you'll lay one of those right there, and you got a thumb screw. You're going to kind of just start it on there, and don't tighten it up all the way. You need 3 hands to do this. Okay. So what's going to happen is these are going to hook into the hooks right here on the motherboard. You got one here, and you got one there, And then I'm just going to tighten the thumb screws down. And I'm kind of pushing down on this, the processor, the cooler head. And kind of try to keep even on both sides. So when one gets a little tight, we run to the other side. Because you want it to be really good and firm on there. Make sure I'm flat. Feels good. And then now we're just a matter of hooking cables up. So these are my two fans. These are going to go to the fans on the case. Here and here. And I'll clean these up and cable manage them shortly, but this is going to go right in here. Again, I put them over this little bar so I can tie them in place later. And these look good. It's got a plastic thing on here. You want to pull that off. And then this goes into a SATA port, which is a power supply, so I'm not worried about that. And this one's going to go into your fan for your CPU. So your CPU fan is this one right here. And it says CPU fan right there. And this one's the CPU optional fan. And that's all I can do right now. So let me, I'll be right back when I get some more stuff. Okay, I've been routing cables around. I got my power supply cables all hooked up. I know where they need to go. This wiring harness for the front fan, or actually their top fans now, needs to go up here. The power supply cable, I just pulled the power up here to the top. This, the motherboard power, I didn't want to run that anywhere. And these are the two SATA cables, which I may not need both of them, but I may use, I don't know. Well, I'll just decide what I want to do later. On the other side, turn it around. On the other side, I've just pushed cables through. So you can kind of see where they're, I have these two, where they're going on that side. So I'm actually going to, so the first thing I want to do is hook this one up to the motherboard up here. The only thing I didn't like about this, I got to find the plug, it's way up here at the top. One thing I found about this is the fan, the system fan for this motherboard is way down here. There's one right there and there's one like way over here. So to get the one for the three fans on the top, I needed to pull it from down. It was kind of like going down to the bottom. Couldn't really do that. So I'm going to route it up through here where that plug was and grab it. And I'll pull it down to there. And this one is the back fan. I'm actually going to run it. I need to lay it down where I can see it a little better. Yeah, that's going there. The other one was, where's the other system fan? It was in a weird place. It was like way down at the bottom or something. Okay, so that was for the three fans at the top. The other one is right next to this power plug. I knew there was a reason I plugged that in first. So you just gotta, you won't be able to see this, but once I move my fingers out of the way, you will. Turn. It's a bad thing about having fat fingers. Dig it in there. Yeah. All right. So then I'll pull this back through on the other side. So a couple things I can go ahead and hook up. So this is the USB 3 that goes to the front port. That goes right here. If it doesn't go in that way, you just turn it around. Yeah, it pops in place. There's some front panel stuff here. That's for the video card. Let's see, this is the front panel. That is going to plug in right here. This is USB on the front panel. I just plugged in there to make sure it would fit. It just slid right in there. This is my front panel audio. So this is HD audio, and that is going to go back here. This is basically what I did while I was away. Just making sure I knew where everything went. I'll pull all this stuff tight and get it all neat and trimmed at one time, some point in time. This is for the power for the pump, so I'm going to run that. I'm going to poke that back in there. The only other thing I have is this USB cable that goes to the pump. This is for you to run software for it, and it goes, there's a plug right on the side over here. Goes right there, and I'm going to feed this. I'm going to set this up right again. I'm going to feed it right through here. And it should go, should be long enough for me to pull down to sorry, another cable getting in the way. Got another cable. And that one goes in right here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now I just need to get my hard drives in place, which I think I'm going to put it, I could put it either here, 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 or there's actually two on the back. Since I'm going to open it because I haven't opened it yet. I don't know what it looks like. If it's kind of ugly or plain, I'll hide it in the back. If it looks neat, I'll put it where you can see it. Yeah, it's just plain. So I'll probably just stick this in the back. I mean, it doesn't need to be up front for any reason. So yeah, it's just a plain black hard drive. So I'll stick it in the back. So I'll be back once I figure out where I want to put it at for sure. Okay, so really the last thing I need to do as far as the motherboard goes right now is I need to get the power to it. So I'm going to run this cable up through here. Actually, there's two more things, but turn it and lock it in place. Okay, now I've got my hard drives. I'm gonna have two at some point in time, but I'll just do one for right now. So this one's gonna go, gotta go around my power supply, my cables over here. So I'm gonna plug this one in right here. And the next one right next to it, basically. Yeah, so I've got the one hard drive here, and then I'm going to have the one I just opened, and then I think I will probably have another one. So so that'll give me my two cables for that. So the rest of it, now I get the video card in there, and then I've just got to do routing and stuff on the back and put the hard drives in. Okay, so the last thing for this, let me try to get this cable scooted over, is to put the video card in. So all I've done is I'm going to pull the plastic off. It's got a plastic covering on the little, so it won't short out anything. And then I've taken I kind of just laid it in here and saw, okay, that's gonna plug in there. I know I'm gonna have to remove these two back plates right here. So I've done that. And that's what I was afraid of. The thing's kind of in the way. Hold on. Give me 1 second, I'll be back. All right, it was just a piece of Velcro was kind of in the way, so that's all I had to do was move the Velcro so I could pull it up out of the way. So now, I'm just gonna line this up and push it into where it locks. Put my 2 screws in there, hold it in place. It doesn't have to be super tight, just finger tight's fine. And then I've got my power. And we're good to go. So now I'm just really gonna clean up cables. So you'll see me pulling cables and moving cables around just sped up. So I'll be back. Alright, so here's the computer all set up. The 2 monitors on the bottom are for my new computer. Love the new monitor. The new monitor is huge. Huge big screen. And then there's my old monitor. And then the top one is my old computer. We just run security cameras on there for the most part, although I do some other things on there like editing and video and stuff like that. But that's pretty much just our security cameras, just sit up there all the time. And then the 2 monitors at the bottom is where I play games and Xbox and all that stuff. There's my keyboard. That's my old keyboard and setup. Love the stand, by the way. There's a separate video on that. And then underneath, I kind of got all the cables set up, but you can see I kind of got the two computers kind of shoved together in the whole small space. It's not really big enough space for it because of that fireplace over there, but they fit pretty good. I like the case. I can't really show it off underneath there, but maybe one of these days if I move to a different area, then I'll be able to show it all better. So yeah, hope you enjoy this video, and thanks for watching.